Good afternoon, everyone. How are you guys doing? Papa Snow here. It is currently July 18th, 2020. Okay? And I've got a really nice episode here. We want to talk about something very, very important, something that affects the whole nation. And particularly, it will definitely affect a few other nations at the same time. And I think it's very, very important that we have this discussion, because this is something that needs to be addressed as soon as the new administration steps in. It's something that affects all of us, okay? And I think it's about time that we had this discussion. You know, you guys, me, and the world that is listening, all right? And, you know, I'm going to ask that everybody who's coming on, please share this video, help get this video out to as many people as possible, because it's all about facts. Everything I'm talking about today, factual. There's no, I'm not going to leave no middle room for people to wiggle away and try to get things out there. This is also an open discussion, because I don't know everything. I'm just going on what I know, and I'm going to back up what I'm talking about today with some very valid facts. Facts that need to be heard. Okay? We're going to talk about the dangers of what is listed above, and we're going to discuss to see if there are benefits to what we listed above. Right? So once again, before we proceed, good afternoon. Hope everyone is well. For those of you overseas, it's really hot in Guyana right now. Okay, snowman kind of melting a little bit. But at the same time, hey, at least with the heat, we know we don't got too much corona. Burn out the corona, right? Because that's our major enemy at this moment, is the corona, right? However, if you're living in Guyana or other countries affected by would-be dictators, then, you know, you have other problems as well. All right? So this is a big thing. So once again, good afternoon to everyone here. All right, and today we're going to be discussing the practice of having politicians or government officials who are beyond a particular age. Okay? And right now, you know, I've got the system open in front of me, so I like to check facts as I talk, right? And I like to just bring the evident reality to the table when we have this discussion. Because some people may have varied opinions, I should say. However, I, personally, in my opinion, right, what I'm going to talk about here today is something that I truly believe in. Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're discussing today is basically the dangers of having politicians or leaders running a country when they are very, very old, right? In terms of age, right? Because at the end of the day, when you look at certain things, for instance, let's use David Granger as a relevant, immediate example, right? Let's face it. I believe he turned 75 the other day. Does anyone out there understand the concepts of things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, right? Or any other health concerns that seriously affect the elderly? In case you are aware of those things, then those are just a couple of reasons why I'm saying this. Also, there is a saying, and I'm sure a lot of Guyanese would have heard this saying before. In fact, many people around the world would have possibly heard this saying, and it goes like this: once a man, twice a child. And there's a very important reason that that statement exists. And that is because when you're born, you don't know much. So you are a child. That is your first instance of being a child. Throughout your course of adolescence, as you develop into a man or a young woman, you would have been educated, you would have been prompted, and you would have a certain degree of energy that only youth can truly provide. And you would have a certain time in which this energy would be at its pinnacle. By the time you hit 40, you're hitting 50, all these things start to go down. Declining. Slowly, but surely, because you can't outrun time. Now, by 65 in Guyana, as well as overseas if I'm correct, it's normally considered an age for retirement. Okay? Why is that considered an international age set as a standard for retirement? Reason being is because by that age, depending on how you would have lived your life, okay, you're already on your way out of this life. Legally speaking, because the law has stipulated that that is the retirement age. And it has stipulated that for a particular reason. Because by that time, a lot of health issues, mental health issues, neurological issues, right? Those things start to seriously take effect on you, as you know, as well as your physical issues, and everything working together tends to seriously affect you. Not to mention your commonplace lifestyle, family stress, financial headaches, social loyalties, okay, religious loyalties, right? Traditional aspects. All of these things play a serious and significant role on you as you get older, right? But that isn't the true danger, though that is just a few parts of danger. I often tell people that some of the most dangerous people in this life are the people who are at a certain age. Because the bottom line is, they would have had an opportunity to already live a full life. And if anything is to happen to them, the loss would be less severe than if you were to lose the loss of maybe a 20-year-old person who may still have, 40 or 50 years of opportunity in front of them to either do good or do bad, or become something great or become something horrible, right? What's up to everybody in Suriname, everybody else around the world? Big up, everybody. Now, currently, we are in a situation where our country, Guyana, in my opinion, is being held hostage through bureaucracy and loopholes. And the fact that, in my opinion, we have a one-sided defense force and police force who still follows those persons' objectives. But we are in a great deal of danger because, using David Granger as an example, you got the 75-year-old man who is still holding on to power. Ladies and gentlemen, if David Granger destroyed his whole freaking country, mash it up, burn it down, do whatever the hell it is, even if you were to arrest the man, what justice would you get? How long would he survive incarcerated? Not very long. Which means he doesn't get the opportunity to pay for his crimes. Just like I said, using it as an example because of his age. And not just his. There's a lot of other very, very old people sitting in powerful spots. And that has become a liability. A gross liability against the standard working class people here in Guyana. Because they are fighting an enemy that has an extreme amount of power, and at the same time, if they're ever caught for the crimes that they may or may not be doing, there's no true realistic way to hold them accountable for their actions other than putting them in prison. And if you put them in prison, it's short-lived because they're already on their way out. Now, that's a very serious thing to think about. That is an extraordinarily serious issue to think about. Right? For instance, I consider my father an extremely dangerous person. Because I know what his mentality is. And I know that he is past a certain age. And if he was to go completely nuts on everybody, what could you do then? Worst thing you could do to the man would kill him. He on his way out. What are you going to do? What satisfaction can you get from that? What justice can you get from that? It is unrealistic. You're setting yourself up for loss, or a potential loss. There might be somebody that you want, you like the man, but if you don't pick your leaders based on certain requirements, especially age and health and concerns like that, you're going to find yourself in a very, very screwed up position. Because at any point in time they decide to turn on you, like what is currently happening right now, where you got a handful of people turning on the whole country for their own greed and sinister ways, what can you actually do to them? Because the law only allows you to punish them and not necessarily punish their family legally. However, if they stole something, they would have given it to their family because they don't need it. They're on their way out of this life. If they would have built something with ill-gotten gains and you don't seize it, and you don't have systems to reprimand this type of behavior, to ensure that these people cannot get away with these things, they will basically advantage the shit out of it. Okay? They will take everything you have and they will give it to family and friends, and they will take the blame and dead peacefully, knowing that they would have enriched their families to put their families in a position to screw you up later on. And the blame done. Story done. Because I know about you, you can't put a dead man in jail, at least not successfully. You can't make him feel remorse for his sins or his actions, because he's already in the grave. Right? We need systems. We need serious systems in place. We need some laws in place. And we actually have some laws in place in Guyana. And one of those laws that are going to be reflected to the cabal and to all of the persons who have been getting ill-gotten gains and handing it to your children, I need you guys to truly understand that the Constitution permits the legal system to arrest your family and friends who have benefited from stolen merchandise or ill-gotten gains. I want you to know this, right? And that is the same law that will be exercised when going after everyone that has significantly benefited or benefited from the ill-gotten gains of this cabal. Anyone that has been over the last couple of years putting up buildings and doing all this stuff, and you can't account for how you got that money, and it is traced back to things like state assets and tax dollars that you weren't supposed to be using, that means that you have participated in the crime. That means that you have accepted stolen merchandise. You are now a part, legally, of that criminal action. And there are persons or groups of people like me that will be working with any government, not just the PPP government. If a valid APNU government was to ever rise again, which I don't think that's ever going to happen, because they fucking killed themselves, right? They completely destroyed it. APNU's dead, PNC is dead, AFC is a joke, right? These these Change Guyana just got rearranged. All of these groups that have been benefiting from the corruption are all guilty legally of a crime. However, the belief of these groups is that, well, hey, you know, Papa Granger there. Papa Granger gonna take the blame before he left this world. It ain't gonna happen like that. Because one, this country has a big mess to clean up. Even when the PPP go into power there, the PPP got a lot of work to do. They have to go into damage. As soon as the PPP touch down, they got to do damage control. Then they have to do a lot of internal auditing and investigations and stuff like that. And I'll tell you this, I would like to be a part of it. I'm not part of the PPP, but I would definitely like to be a part of that for transparency purposes. I would like to investigate why this is happening so that nobody is playing nice to anybody. Right? Because I believe that is the plan. And that has been the plan. All the old people who've been fighting for 30-something years or 23 years to get back into power, they done tell themselves, listen, man, we done in we 60s, some of we done in the 70s, and we want to make sure we cheering and we grandchildren them live and benefit and enjoy everything. But I want them to know, I want them all to know, that the amount of investigations that are currently happening, and the amount of investigations that will be initiated under a fair government will lead all of your family members in prison if they have collected or benefited from stolen state assets. Just want to put that out there, right? And I'll explain why I'm so dedicated to this particular situation. Ladies and gentlemen, many, many times in the past, and even up to current day, I've been wrongfully accused because I stand up and I speak my mind and I give Jackie jacket. I call a spade a spade. If you're red, you're red. If you're blue, you're blue. If you're black, you're black. Story done. However, there are a lot of people that don't like that. And because they don't like that, they have attempted to damage my character. In fact, they have been able to successfully attack my character from 2011 all the way up to present day. Because persons would have controlled the media, they would have had a lot of friends and family in different areas. And I'm not just talking about one political group. If you heard the year that I said the attack started, right? And all of these things need to be answered. Now, they made a statement when attempting to damage my character, and they attempted to call me a fraud without proof. Ladies and gentlemen, from the past to the present and into the future, I never have to fraud anybody to get anything. However, I'm very happy that they pushed the wrong buttons, because I was not the right person for them to do that bullshit to. And in their haste to attack everything that was honest, they woke something up that is not going to go to sleep until they answer for their crimes. Because realistically, I have nothing better to do. Right? I help people in the country, but they screw them up, and more people coming for help. And I want to stop having to do this. It's easier to help people if you get rid of the problem first and then help people. You can't help people and then they fall back into the problem and they keep coming back for help, because then you'll never stop helping people. And I do, at some point in time, want to actually have a life for myself. Because for the last 20 years, I could tell you, I've been all about just helping people. And in Guyana, it seems like a never-ending thing, because you're fighting an uphill battle all the time. That every time you fix something, the people who have been entrusted to maintain a standard are the ones who keeps breaking it. And I found out why. And it was really simple. Most of our leaders are way past retirement age. They don't give a shit about you. They don't care. They'll play the role. They'll make you a skunt. They're going to take your money. And by the time you realize the crime that they have committed against you and you are ready to take action, they dead and gone. And then you're going to say, good, he dead. But you never get back the money that you lose. That money done circulating within their family and friends association, building another system to do the same bullshit to your kids in the future. It's time that that stopped. So I'm asking the new government, when they step in, to be fair to the people of Guyana and to constitutionally make a law that does not allow anyone past the retirement age prior to an election, or persons that will pass the retirement age during a term, to ever be allowed to contest in an election again. Right? Simply because, and I'll tell you this, medical freaking reasons. Medical science, the same medical science that got people running to doctors for cures and everybody running around and trusting the doctor, right? The same medical science has proven that past a certain age, not everyone, but a majority of human beings starts losing focus on a lot of basic things. Health is one of the major aspects here, and mental health is affected by your physical health as well, which is affected by a lot of different things, emotional constraints, whatever the case may be. And it can cause persons to not be able to make good judgment calls. Right? And then if they can't make a good judgment call, or they get flustered or frustrated, they might have to lean on somebody else in order to make a good decision. And if those persons have surrounded themselves with idiots, then the only answer that they can get is an idiotic answer. You can't get a sensible answer from an idiot. It's a fact. You cannot get a sensible answer from an idiot. Okay? We need to eliminate all of the overaged personnel from Parliament, from government. We need to send them into retirement. Okay? This is essential. This is essential to having a balanced country that will forever push for development and growth in the right sectors. Because it is true, some old dogs you can't teach new tricks to. They're set in their ways. And they will want those ways to dictate your future. And that's very dangerous because their ways have not evolved. Some of them still can't read without a piece of paper in front of them. Some of them can't write their own speeches. Some of them can't even speak without having somebody whisper something in their ears because they don't know or can't remember what to say, even though they just mentioned it 5 seconds prior. That is a dangerous consequence. That will bear horrible consequences for the country. Not to mention, when persons are at a certain age, they require a great deal of medical assistance, which will eventually bear in on the local economy. Especially when we have cancer doctors in a country like Guyana, but our leaders who claim that the medical cycle is such a great thing still choose not to use the localized medical system. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, let me tell you, any politician that is vying for your attention, your support, in order to achieve their agenda, it is my firm belief that they should visually and actively every day practice what they preach. That is a fact. I also think that based on the fact of how technology is at this present moment, and the fact that the Guyanese people, in my advice and my opinion, should not trust any politician in office right now because there's still too much corruption in the country, I do feel that all of these ministerial offices should be live streamed whenever they are in office. We should have an eye on them at all times, with the exception of when they're shitting, showering, and making love. I don't care about those things. But if you're eating and you're eating on state dollars, I want to see what you're eating. If you get the nice car on state dollars, I want to know what you're driving. Because that's my tax money. It's your tax money. Do we not have the right to know what it is spent on? Let me tell you. I do catering. I work in the food service industry. You know, I train restaurant hospitality staff. About half the places that are associated with food currently that are operating business here in Guyana, in some which way, shape, size, or form, I am tied into them, whether they know it or not. My network is vast. And I can tell you, the politicians don't eat like me and you, because the state pays for their meals. Which means when they go to lunch, if they spend a $20,000 on lunch, not a problem. It's your money to spend. Why is it that I got to eat a little roti with a curry wrap up as the taxpayer, but the man who taking my tax dollar, well, he eating a 7-course meal, and 80% of that 7-course meal he wasting anyway because he get glutton, he buy everything and he can't eat it. And then he throw it away to the dogs. But we, who are footing that bill, we eating a little wrap-up roti and a little chicken curry, and we ain't got no choice. We gotta say bless up. And then we gotta go to a dead-end job that may be only paying a $2,000 or $3,000 a day. By the time you take out transportation, lunch money, every day we working to pay back somebody a $500. We ain't working for make no money. Then we get hit with the NIS, we get hit with PAYE, we get hit with all these other things, and then everywhere we go we get an extra 14 to 16% charge up on this and charge up and down, charge up on this and charge up and down, right? When do you think this nonsense will stop? When we put effective laws in place. When we sit down together with a sound mind and we calculate our pros and our cons, or our assets and our liabilities. Why would we take a liability and make him a leader? Unless you want to lead by losing. Because that's what we did. We took liabilities and we made them leaders. This is a big problem. You know? Some people know my name, Anthony Sean Snow. Some people say, "Oh, look, your initials are short. When you check your initials, it means you're an ass." No, you just can't see the rest yet. The rest is written in invisible ink. It's supposed to be assets. Young people are assets, not liabilities. And we need young assets at the top, not liabilities. Not people who are going to lead us to lose. Right? Who is this? Oh, somebody named Mark said, "Deportee, shut your swine mouth." Hey, well, let me tell you what, right? You can't stop what's coming. I want to cuss you bad, but I'm trying to hold it back. And you can't stop what's coming. Imagine if I am a deportee and I had to come here to impart wisdom to you dumbass. Then that means you are worse than anything you could ever call me. Right? You need to understand something. If the master of the house don't know how to open up the door, but the dog come and open up the door, who is really the master? Tell me. Who is really the master? Right? So know your place and expect your sanctions and expect a long-term boycott, because people like you will be erased from this country systematically. And you could take that statement however you want to take that statement, but I call you a negative person. You're a liability. And part of my job here in this country is to remove the liabilities, to allow the assets the opportunity to grow. I don't need to be the person. I just need to open up the door for the people. Okay? That's a fact. Right? That is a fact. No need to curse him, because his leaders are going to prison. And his hope will be shattered. And all them free rides that he have been getting will be gone. And then 100-year boycott that will follow this attempt at an overthrow, it will destroy everything else that we missed in the process. It is people like you, Mark, that have woken me up. So thank you for giving me my opportunity at redemption, even though I never committed a crime to redeem myself. It wasn't me that needed the redemption. It was this country. I didn't want to be here. I didn't expect my life to be here. But just like Jonah, I run from my destiny, and a whale swallowed me and spit me back up on this shore. And now I have to save my people. But you wouldn't know that, would you? Because you're not schooled, you're not educated, you don't have common sense, you probably ain't got the dollar in your pocket, and you damn straight don't know how you're going to pay for your blaze bill when this government come out of power. Which means, when Granger finally retires due to international pressure, you will no longer have things like internet, teeth in light, teeth in water. You're going to have to actually get a job. And I know that's what you're scared of. But don't worry, because even if you turn to crime and you get locked up, we're bringing back a chain gang, right? So that we could chain your ass up in the jungle and let you clear some damn roadway for infrastructural projects. Because even me, I saw a purpose in shit, Mark. Even manure has a benefit. Even manure has a benefit. So I'm going to plant you deep in the ground. And I'm going to make something positive grow on you. Okay, shithead? Right? That's why I came. Because I know how to take the negative and turn it into something positive. Right? So I want you to know. Right? I want you to enjoy that. It's not an easy job, ladies and gentlemen. There are many, many people in this country who are lost. And I'm going to say they're lost, because I want to give some of them an excuse. So they're lost. So what I'm going to do, since there's darkness covering our country at the moment, I'm going to turn on the lights. And I'm going to help you find your way. And if you refuse to follow the course set out for you, in which case you shall be dragged through and put where you need to be. Okay? Without bias, without prejudice, without arguing or complaining, that is what we will do. And when I say me, and when I say we, I don't mean the PPP, because I'm not a part of the PPP. I mean the decent citizens of Guyana from all walks of life who is associated with whatever different parties they're associated with. We are finally taking a stand. We're tired of it. Okay? And all that bullyism and all those things, you don't even know that I'm responsible for a particular list, do you? Watch how foolish you're foolish. But it's okay. Because you're going to be stuck here in this country. And you're going to be stuck under the people whose lives you attempted to make miserable. And you will watch them grow. And the same way that you are behaving, I pity you if you decide to train your children that way. Because if so, they shall suffer the same consequences. Okay? They will forever be blind, deaf, and dumb skunk, just like you. Alright? Subject to knockabout. The same way you wanted everyone else to knockabout. The same way you wanted everybody else to punish. The same way your leaders tried to clamp down and punish every person here in this country. Even their own supporters. No. Justice must come. Justice must come. That is a fact. Right? And I will show kids to the world that you can use peace and conquer hostility. But you have to do so with a firm hand. Your integrity must be high. Your morals and your values must be of a certain standard. And you must be willing to go the distance to cure or correct the problem that is currently affecting the country. And you have to be able to do so without a bias. Right? And in case there is a chance that you may have a bias, we're going to start it out really, really fast. You see, that's one thing. That's one reason why I definitely want to see more young people as leaders. Because the young people ain't got the patience for this scunt. We ain't got the patience for this long drawn out charade and nonsense. The young people of this country, we need solutions now. We ain't got time with race, you know. It's only y'all old mess up, twisted people that's really push race. Because them is old tricks. These dogs ain't learn no new tricks. They learn about science and chemistry and computer technology. They only know about corruption, lies, deceit. That's what they know about. And if you want better, you want people to do better for you, you need to find people that are capable of thinking outside of the box and not people who are thinking about leaving you in a box. You need people, ladies and gentlemen, that has not harbored 30 to 40 years of racial hate in their heart. You need people that don't have that weakness in them to go to top. All of our standardized, regular by politicians need to be removed. This is a fact. We need young leaders. And when I say young, I don't mean in your 20s. I would say maybe by 35, a little bit older than that, right? The maturity of men really started setting in, whereas the maturity of women really starts setting in probably in their early 20s. Scientifically proven, right? Mackenzie, not really like me, you know. I'm a little too old when it comes to knowledge. I know enough to know that government is stress. I don't see it as a reward. I see it as a plague. I see it as something that I would rather somebody else do, but I would rather them do it the right way. I really don't think that I want to really do this whole leadership thing, because in Guyana, it's not really leadership. It's babysitting. Because most of the people out here can't do anything for themselves. If you don't believe me, I can prove it to you every day. I could walk down the road and show you 20,000 incidents of people who depend on government or depending on somebody else as opposed to depending on their own self-worth and in their own skills and in their own ideas. Right? This is a fact. Priya Khan, you're absolutely right. I know many people who are old, but they know nothing. They have wasted that time in their life. They have completely wasted that time in their life. For instance, look at what is happening right now. Sorry about that. Right? Someone else. I dealing with the older person overseas. And they still feel that they got to tell me one thing 100 times for me to understand. That has nothing to do with me. That is because it took them 100 times before for them to hear it and learn and know what's going on. Right? But they judge us by their standards, young people. And I don't think that that is right. We are by far more advanced than our predecessors. We are that next generation of evolution. Why did I, hola, Andre Brutus, why did I not speak like this years ago under the PPP? I was speaking like this years ago under the PPP. But the country didn't get enough licks yet from their politicians to learn. So when I spoke, my voice went upon deaf ears. It is only now people are willing to listen because the people that you have loved so much have taken your deaf ears and ripped them out. You needed licks first. You needed to learn. People needed to see that what they wanted was not what they needed. And what they needed is what they threw in the carnal. That is why I have a saying, and it is my saying. I penned it myself. Nobody should thief this and ever say it's demo. This is a Papa Snow saying from Guyana live, and you're going to hear it here again. You want what you want till you get what you want. So what you want, no. Bottom line. We always want. Y'all get green. Just scunt it. First, the Indian people, you had the PPP. Oh, scunt. It was still one-sided. Now, scunt, we add insult to injury. We take up new scunt. You want what you want, you get what you want. And now you can't get nothing scunt that you need. Think about this. It is not the politicians' fault that the people of Guyana do not have more than two options. Two serious options. Like big options. That is the people's fault. The people have been consistently over decades making political decisions based on fear or power or racism. So the decisions that you have made based on fear, power, and racism have resulted in the equation that we currently have now that we are facing, which is somehow, you know, a minus this and a minus that, and you still want a positive resolution. The public as a whole is still not mature enough for proper leadership. You know, if a wise man gives wisdom to a fool, the fool will hate him. However, if you love somebody and you want to see them do well, you will impart wisdom to them. This is a fact. Everybody gotta hold on and wake the fuck up for a minute, because when y'all working, I ain't fucking bothering y'all like doing something important, please. Right? Good. Angle Gale, get from air, God will destroy you. But first he'll allow me to destroy you, miss. I can't leave until my job is done. I ain't saying he ain't gonna destroy me. He can destroy all of we. Because all of us are imperfect. All of us are sinful. All of us are prone to this wickedness. So we are all destined for destruction based on being human beings. Okay? So since you mentioned God, alright, understand that he is a fair God. As sure as he shall destroy me, he shall destroy you first. He'll just allow me to do it. Okay? How else am I supposed to earn my wings? Haven't you learned this before? Well, let me educate you. Okay? Let me educate you. Ladies and gentlemen, if we continue this practice of putting dying people in power, our nation will share their fate. We will die. Once again, I am back again. And that is proof. This is just actual proof. I've got somebody beyond a certain age group handling something for me. And you have to keep going back with the same shit over and over and over again. Because no matter how much you teach the old dogs new tricks, they revert to their habitual instinct. Which is, do what I want to do, they're going to be alright. No. No, 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 no. Once you're past a certain age, it is very hard for you to evolve quick enough to the changes that are happening in the world, which is why there is retirement programs. And I know in Guyana, the only retirement program that pays you a good pension is being a politician, but that shit has to stop. It has to stop if we are expecting to have a free and fair Guyana. Realistically speaking, if you ain't got a halfway decent health, in my opinion, and you're anything over 50, 55, Scott, no way you should be considered presidential material. Because if you commit a large-scale crime, you can't spend time in prison long enough to repay what the damage you have done to the country. Anybody vying to be a leader of this country should be young enough that if he breaks the law, we could put him in prison forever and know that the population will get some type of justice from that situation. That is a fact. I believe in systems of accountability. This is a fact. And people who are beyond a certain age range cannot fully be held accountable. Not even for their basic life decisions. Because it is just not feasible for that to happen. Exactly, Karen. Some old people go senile, Scott. And I don't know how many of you are au fait with the term neurological degenerative disease. And if you're not, then you don't know old people yet, Scott. This is a fact. Because it happens to us. Worse yet, with the current generation that we are bringing up and the fact that most of them are fucking knuckleheads, right? Rather sing and dance and whine and bend over and only taking education serious in their 20s because that's when they realize, oh, skunt, I need a job now. Now I gotta go back to school and I gotta do this and I gotta do that. No, them, I wouldn't even want them in office past the age of 45. This is a fact. I gotta check certain things. People who like to drink soursop juice, but they don't know how it blended, you can't even trust them, because the seeds from the soursop plant has a certain type of cyanide in it that creates a neurological degenerative disease pattern. So you have to know. So even your diet can affect your decisions. Like a child eat too much sweetie before he go to sleep, and suddenly he having a lot of dreams because the sugar working in the body. All of these things are contributing factors. Mind I say, if something I have said so far is not factual, pull my card on it, mess me up, make me look like an idiot today. That's all I ask. But if what I am saying is correct, well then you know we're in a very dangerous situation. Then you know we are in a very, very dangerous situation. Because we have inevitably put the dead to manage the living. So ladies and gentlemen, as the new government takes place, we should all rally to have a certain degree of constitutional reform to prevent anyone past a certain age or a little too close to the grave, or if you have a terminal illness or anything like, you should not be allowed to sit in a position of power where you can make decisions that can inadvertently destroy the lives of innocent citizens. This is a fact. Now, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, I always ask for your opinion, negative or positive. I don't know everything because I'm still a young man in my own right. And as long as I still consider myself this way, and I still keep seeking knowledge, I will be able to evolve. So for any of you out there that can educate me a little bit more with precise and accurate information, I welcome you to write it in the comment section below. Because it's not just me watching that comment. Thousands of other people are. And who knows? Maybe you say something and it educates all of us. Let's see, I see a statement from Razia Hussein. Be realistic. Majority of young people get academic education, but yet they're dumb as ass, can't focus, have no common sense, and can't make educated and calculated decisions for themselves. I'm gonna finish reading this. How the ass they will run a goddamn country? Please explain. First thing, if the youths are unprepared for leadership, and as you say, many of them are dumb as ass, well then it's the fault of the older people. Who was here first? Who set the standard? Who told them what to study? Who encouraged them to be this way? It is our current problem. But whose fault is it that is the status quo at the minute? Is it not those who were here before us? If I come and reach a bridge and I cross that bridge and that bridge is weak and it fails me, am I the cause of that bridge failing, or is the person who incorrectly built the bridge the true problem? Simple question, right? Many, and I admit, many young people are ill-prepared. But let's deal with the question as to why they're ill-prepared. Because the older ones systematically destroyed the education system and twisted the shit out of everything to make sure that leaders would not grow from the ghetto. Don't you know a systematic, long-term, 20-year, 30-year attack? Can't you identify it? These are the things that I've been able to identify, and it is called negative social programming. They have programmed failure into the hearts and minds of the young people, and only a few of us are able to escape that trap. And any one of us who escapes that trap, we are immediately attacked for being different. Why? Because we're smart. Because we have a vision. Because we choose not to be the donkey pulling the cart. Which one is it? But there are young people who are coming up who have the ability, and they're brilliant young blacks, they're brilliant young Indians, they're brilliant young Amerindians, and they are never given the opportunity because the old ones tell us that, "Bye, we've been here for 30 years, man, we gotta eat fuss." The young people need to turn them into food. There's a rebellion going on. There's a revolution that is growing. There's a lot that most people will not understand until it comes. Because sometimes you don't get to learn about something in the classroom. You have to learn it through experience. And since the classroom structure has been destroyed by all of these prior governments and negative social programming, it is only through hard lessons and experience shall the young people learn how to be the leaders. You have forced us to be forged in fire. While you took the easy ride that was left by the British when they left, you destroyed even that system. Are you not shamed? Is there no shame, no remorse in your hearts for what you have done to the young people of Guyana? No sympathy when you see us out there looking for jobs and we can't get. When we spend whatever money we walking for, plus we paid salary and savings to go to Kiss Me Ass University of Guyana, come out and there's no damn jobs or opportunity for us, but yet y'all getting that money. Are you not shamed? Do you not take accountability? Is there no common sense for the youths? Is there no sympathy for the struggles that you have created for us to go through? Well, don't worry. You have angered the young population. And there's no burials for some of y'all old boys. It's straight cremation. We can't even poison the ground with your soul. Trust me when I tell you this. We ain't believe in poisoning fertile soil. We got to get the bacteria out. This is a fact. I tell people already, Guyana does not need no more politicians. We are beyond that particular point. Guyana needs heroes. And the heroes of Guyana will not be the big strong man, them will not be who can fight better, would not be anything. It is the people who can educate the youth, who can empower the young people. And we are doing so against all odds because the system was designed to keep all young people down, so that these old fraudulent people can thief all the country money and send their children to the right places to train their children to further carry out the system of exploitation and negative programming that has held this country hostage since the talk of false independence some 50-something odd years ago. Guyana's never been independent. Guyana will establish real independence when the Amerindians truly get their independence. That is when Guyana will get its independence. Unfortunately, the concept of independence has also been misconstrued through the education system by teachers who were taught to be stupid and propagate the nonsense later. This is a fact. This is a fact. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I ain't the smartest thing. I definitely ain't rich. At least not in a financial sense. I've never been perfect in relationships. I've had my share of faults. I don't keep too many friends for too long because I don't got a certain degree of patience for stupidity. I'm not perfect. And I can honestly tell you all of those things. The same way that I can honestly tell you that these people have been working a number on this whole country for decades. And for you young people out there, if you really want a real opportunity, and you truly want to see a good future, we have to abandon the old ways. It is time we put the mummies in the ground, wrapped up nice, and we move forward. It is time to drop the baggage of the past. The hate, the fear, the racism. It is time for us to put it aside. Because if we can't stop focusing on their problems from 20 and 30 years ago, how will you find the time to focus on your life? Today. Now. Because before you know it, you're old too. Thank you very much. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen. Please share the video. Bye-bye.